Hi, I'm Dave Atkinson, and welcome to Life on the Straight. Please take a moment to listen to the song My Caregiver. It is now available on music stores and streaming services, including iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, Pandora, and many others. I've also placed the music video under my Creative Projects playlist. This is part 6 of the story behind the song.
I traded in my left leg for a couple of metal sticks.
My final amputation surgery was a little after 11 p.m., and I remember how strange it was that I no longer had a leg as they wheeled my hospital bed back into my room. Oddly, I could still feel my missing leg, and not just a little bit, but a lot. I still had that sensation of a numb foot resting on the bed next to my right leg. I was experiencing what is known as phantom limb sensation, and I would later also experience phantom limb pain. Amy plugged in my phone to the charger so I could listen to music. My playlist included thousands of songs, and I just let it set to shuffle mode, and I tried to go to sleep. Early the next morning, the doctors grabbed my toe to wake me up. As my eyes opened, the song I Just Want to Celebrate by the group Rare Earth began playing on my phone. I just want to celebrate another day of living. I just want to celebrate another day of life. I started crying. I was sad that my leg was gone, but I was also glad that my cancer-ridden and surgically mangled leg was gone. I profusely apologized to Dr. Thompson for telling him right after my initial 7-hour surgery that had there been a loaded pistol on my hospital bed, I would have turned it on myself. I now use the time to thank him and his team for all of their hard work in keeping me alive. That first day after surgery, the nurses had me attempt to swing my body over to the edge of the bed so that my remaining leg touched the floor. I took hold of the walker and stood up. To their amazement, they wanted me to take things slowly so I wouldn't topple over. Remember, I had just resumed eating a little food a few days ago and my body was weak. I remained in my hospital room for 6 days after the amputation. During that time, I was introduced to a walker and later forearm crutches. I learned how to walk around the floor of the hospital wing and later to go up and down stairs, first with a wooden prop that the physical therapist people had built, and later in the hospital stairwell. I was taken outdoors to give my crutches a try, learning how to navigate obstacles and walking forwards and backwards. On August 22nd, 5 days after the amputation, they removed the epidural mesh. My catheter ouch, my PICC line, and all IV pain meds and fluids. A commode had been placed next to my bed, signaling my graduation from the bedpan. I was beginning to feel like a real person once again. The next step in my journey would be two kinds of therapy, occupational and physical, and for that, the staff would have to decide whether I could move upstairs to the PT wing or be sent out to some nursing home. The PT wing had a limited number of beds, and they only wanted people who would and could put forth the effort and do the work. I convinced them that I was their man, and on the 24th, I was moved upstairs. With the help of a therapist, I was finally able to take a shower. My last shower had been the morning of my first surgery on the 9th, so I was overdue. Amy brought me my razor so I could trim my facial hair. I could now use an actual toilet. I was fitted for a custom wheelchair which would be delivered to our home, plus I was given a walker and a set of forearm crutches. Part of my day was spent exercising my muscles. Sometimes it was as simple as pulling apart elastic ropes or lifting weights, and other times it was working out on exercise machines. A lot of time was spent on getting acquainted with my forearm crutches, negotiating stairs, going for a walk outside, that sort of thing. On August 31st, I was discharged from the UW Medical Center, and Amy drove us home. Our driveway is an eighth of a mile to the front door, and I told Amy that once she turned into the driveway to stop the car and let me walk the distance. We were still using a large white belt that tied around my midsection that she could hang onto for assistance if I needed it, and the UW Medical Center taught Amy a lot of what to do going forward. As we turned into our driveway, the sight made me burst into tears. Our entire neighborhood was lining both sides of the driveway to welcome us home. After a lot of tearful hugs, Amy and I began our walk down the driveway. A neighbor followed behind with a folding chair should I need it, but I did not. The stairs leading up to our house had been trimmed with flower petals for the occasion. I hopped up the stairs and then stood by the railing with my arms and crutches held high and let out a whoop. We all gathered inside the house where an oversized welcome home card awaited us. We were finally home for good, or so we thought.